Hi, this is Jason West, and in this video I want to show you how you can close more people with your webinars. So obviously the most sales with your webinar will usually occur during the live webinar or towards the end of the live webinar after you've made your offer and you've put that button, buy now, get my course, buy my product, service, whatever, book my strategy call. Do that at the end of the webinar. That's when most people will buy. But what happens when you get a ton of people who don't show up, which is actually the majority? So remember that if you're getting about 35% people attend your live webinar, you're doing just fine. That is about the most that generally people can get to attend. It depends on the audience, how well they know you, how much you've warmed them up, all kinds of different varying factors. But generally speaking, about 35% of people will attend a live webinar. So that leaves you with 65% of them to finish, to get them to watch that webinar and to then ultimately, hopefully, buy your product. So this is a sequence that I've set up in my account here in Kartra, and I want to show you how it works. It's a pretty in-depth and precise sequence that gets the right message to the right people at the right time. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to separate people as they enter this to see whether or not they have attended that live webinar or they just flat out missed it. And then we're going to move them down to here and we're going to see did they actually stay on the webinar long enough to be able to see your offer, or did they, the second they saw it, just disappear and go? So we need to separate those guys out into different messages as well. And then also we need to have people who've missed it, and then if they've seen the replay or not. So we want to check, did they miss it? Okay, fine. Now we need to get them to go and see the replay. And if they don't do that, then we're not even going to tell them about the offer, because we don't want to burn them out and just keep, showing all of our cards and actually telling them about the offer without, having shown them the proper sales pitch for the offer, the proper rundown of what's included. If they just see it in an email, you get this, this, and this, it's not going to be as powerful as if they watch it at the end of your webinar. So here's how I've done things. So we've split these people out into those that have actually seen it, so the watched live people, which is great. And in here you can see for me that was 29 people. It was a very small niche webinar this, but it actually made in US dollars, by the time I'd finished, $5,166. And I do one or two of these a week. So that's the people that have seen. We're going to work our way through. They've seen the offer as well. Okay, so 29 people who stayed right from start to finish, and they've seen the offer. Brilliant. Now I'm going to remind them of the offer, ask them why they didn't buy, give them some bonuses, and do everything I can to then close them down. Then in column B, these are the people who just flat out missed. So this sequence is designed to get people who just missed the webinar completely and to get them to go to that replay for a limited time for the next sort of 3 or 4 days. And if they don't do that, then we're just going to unsubscribe them and don't bother telling them about the offer at all. And then in this sequence, this subsequence here, these are the people who have attended the webinar, but just as you've gone to talk about your offer, or maybe even halfway through the webinar, they've gone. So they never got to see what you were selling. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to put them in this sequence, which sends them to the exact part of the webinar that they missed, that you tell them about your product, service, or course. So very powerful, this. And then in the last sequence, the subsequence here, these are people who've now watched the replay, and we're going to now tell them about obviously the course and everything, and then close them down in just the same way as the people who attended the live. And all of these sequences here have built-in timers and everything. So don't know if I can show you that right now, what the actual email looks like. Maybe I can down here. Let's have a look. So let's go to a couple of days left. So okay, watch live 2 days left. Let's see if we can do that. So yeah, as you can see, we've got timers in here. It's showing 0 at the moment because the time has gone, but every single one of these emails is geared to perfectly close down the people that didn't watch, did watch, left before the offer and everything else. And you can see here, you know, even at this stage, there's a sale there, another sale there. So there's 2 extra sales, £1,000 sterling, what's that, $1,200-ish, that we've managed to get in by doing these targeted emails. And I say this is a very small niche webinar, so every sale counts. And you can see the open rate of these emails, 45%, 54%, 55%, you know, and you'll always find it's the, well, these will go down anyway because these are replay reminders 2, 3, and by that point they would have already clicked and gone through to see the actual replay of the webinar, so they don't need to be reminded, so they won't get these emails. So you'll see these going down, but you know, people who left the offer, we've managed to get somebody there, you know, 50% of the people who watched the webinar but didn't see your offer then managed to go through, open email, and 10% of them then click through. And this one here was for somebody who missed the webinar flat out, and then they bought the course as a result of seeing that replay, which we've reminded them to do. And someone here who's just flat out missed the webinar and then been given a link to the replay and clicked through and then bought. So it's a powerful sequence to follow up people who've attended your webinars. Now, if at the moment you're just sending everybody to a replay, you're not, I mean, this is the worst case scenario, right? If somebody goes to your webinar and then that's it, all you're doing is just, you know, leaving the standard reminders to watch the replay in or something from Webinar Jam if that's what you're using, or nothing at all if you're using something like GoToWebinar. They don't even, you know, maybe you don't even have a replay notice about your webinar and you're just using the live one to sell, then potentially you're missing out on a ton of money, especially if you're doing big webinars and you're having a lot of people on them for a, you know, broad subject. You're going to be losing out a lot of cash. So the next best scenario, or the normal one, is perhaps where people are getting sent a replay offer to watch the webinar again, but there's no targeted messages going. And then the next sort of better up the line kind of post-webinar follow-up is when people are saying just straight to those people who missed it, you know, here's the webinar again, and maybe you will tell them about the offer in that missed live webinar email sequence. So that's the sort of different stages of how people are following up with people who've attended or missed the webinars. But as you can see, this is the next level again. This is now sending them a perfect targeted message depending on what they did or did not do in that webinar. Now, if you think that this would help increase your webinar conversions, you're probably right. I've proven it. I do tons and tons of webinars, hundreds of live webinars, and I've seen this refined and I've made it better and better so that it does these really accurate messages. And if you want to get your hands on this whole webinar funnel, because there's also a pre-webinar sequence as well that warms them up before they even come and see you live, then you can just click on the link below this video and it will take you to my funnel shop and just look for the webinar course sales funnel. And it doesn't have to be for courses, but this particular funnel I've done includes a course sales page. It includes a pre-sequence, you know, of them attending the webinar. It includes this big, amazing sequence that goes afterwards, and also a membership area, help desk, and everything else that you can come with Kartra. So if you're using something like Webinar Jam or EverWebinar, this is going to be gold to you and really help you close more people from the same people who are on your list and the same people who are registering for your webinars. You're just going to up your sales. Currently, it's just selling at $397 US, so a complete bargain. You'll probably only need one extra sale from your product or service to cover it. So it's a total deal. And if you've got any questions, drop me a comment under the video. Otherwise, just click on the link and then you can go and get started. You'll need Kartra to do this. Kartra is the best all-in-one marketing platform that I've tested and experienced and I use for both my businesses right now. And you can try it out for $1. I'll also put a link under the video for you to be able to do that. And then you can just buy this funnel, import it straight into your account with all the pages done, all the sequencing done, everything done for you ready. You just got to adjust it slightly to your business with some different text and so on. So thanks again for watching, and I will speak to you real soon.